Hello everyone. So if you guys watched last week's video, you would have seen us in the middle of that cold spell that we were having. We thought we were getting pretty close to getting out of it, but the weather surprised us with another cold spell coming here about 3-4 days. But things have gradually warmed up where at least we're not having those 30 and 40 below days, and we're just going to get about 20 below days. So we have a lot of things that we'd like to get done this week over the next 7 days or so. And one of the biggest things that we need to do is get them cows moved up from Randall's and get them back up here to our place so we can be prepared to start calving. But before we can do that, we need to get these bulls moved from the Idaho side and get them moved over to the pasture, the slough pasture where I calved out my cows last year, because that's going to be their winter home. Because we're going to do things a little bit different this year. Usually in the past, my dad and I have ran our herds separately, but this winter we're going to combine them and run them together and calve them out together. And so we got to get the bulls moved over to a separate pasture where they can finish out the winter before we need them this spring. And the reason we're combining them this winter is just because our hay supply is so tight, and having the herd combined together, we can just use our hay in the most efficient way and not waste anything. It'll be a benefit to both of us having each other to help calve these cows out. So if you guys have been watching the channel for a while and gone through a couple calving seasons with us, you know, see a few new buildings and a different setup for us this winter as we calve out our cows. Because we're going to combine the herd on the Idaho side. That's where my dad usually calves out his cows, so we're just going to do it together out there on the Idaho side, and there's quite a few more buildings out there for us to utilize. But before we can do much of anything, I need to do a little bit of work on this green Deutz tractor, because we're going to need it to clear some snow, and then I need to put that bale spin-off attachment on the back of the tractor so we can start feeding some of the silage once we move back up here, because we have a fair amount of silage that we need to feed, and we don't want to be feeding it all at once just by itself. So when we get the cows moved back up here, we're going to start mixing some of the silage into their hay ration for the every day. If you guys watched one of our videos, I think it was 2 videos back, you saw me working on this scrap metal, trying to get it cut into pieces that were usable to build a new cage for that side-by-side. But I think I'm going to put this project on the back burner just because I seen something else I'd like to maybe build instead of this. So we're just going to scrap this project for a minute and see if we can do something a little bit different here before too long. We don't have a major problem with this tractor, but when we were starting it a couple weeks ago, we had the screen off, and my dad noticed that one of these fan belts, let me see if I can pop this off real quick. I don't know how you can see, but one of these fan belts that run this fan, we don't know if it broke or it just spun off, so I need to take the hood off here and look at that and just check that out. But if you guys have watched the channel for a while, you've probably heard me talk about these Deutz tractors. So they've got a Deutz engine in them, and they're actually air cooled, so there's no coolant in these engines. So those fans are pretty critical to keep the engine cool. I mean, I don't know about this time of year with how cold it is, but luckily to run that fan there's 2 belts, and it's probably a safety precaution instead of just having one belt. If that one belt broke, you'd be in a world of hurt, and that's probably why they have the 2 belts on there. So we still have the one belt that was working, but the second one's either broke or just fell off the pulley. So that's what we're going to look at today. And once we go through all that, hopefully we can get this thing to start, because it's gone through all those 30, almost 40 below days. But luckily we've had it plugged in. And since this doesn't have any engine coolant in it, it has like a oil heater here on the bottom that acts pretty much similar to a block heater. Instead of warming up the coolant in the block, it just keeps the oil warm in the bottom of the engine here. So we've got quite a bit to do really over the next week, and try to juggle all that between our day jobs. So I need to get this Deutz going, that's for the first thing. Then I need to get the snow moved so we can move these bulls and bring the cows up from Randall's. So then, yeah, once we get the bulls moved, then we can focus on bringing the cows up from Randall's. And I'd like to take the drone out one of these days and just see if I can't find any trace of them cows that we're still missing. So I'm gonna have to find a good day to do that, because I can't really take it out when it's snowing or storming, and days like today where it's still so cold, that drone has a hard time in the cold with the batteries. The batteries die pretty quick when it's super cold, and today we're still, I think, 13 below this morning, and it's barely gotten above 0. It's about noon right now, and it's barely above 0. here's the belt. And it looks like it just ran off the pulley for some reason. Maybe they're a little loose. So maybe we just need to tighten up the, I think it tightens from the alternator right here. So we'll just put that back on and tighten things up and go from there. I know we just replaced these belts not too long ago. Maybe, I can't remember, 3 or 4 years. So I don't think they'd be in too bad a shape. So while I'm messing around with this belt, I'm gonna turn this torpedo heater on right here and have it blowing on this tractor, at least to try to get it somewhat warm. And then I'm going to put the battery charger on the battery and just charge it up. Because like I said, it's been sitting for about 3 or 4 weeks and it's gone through some pretty cold temperatures. So hopefully we can get it fired up today. I've got these little pads that I use to kneel on this other side of the tractor just to try to keep some of that heat right in the engine compartment there to warm it up that much faster, hopefully. Belts back on. Should work for us. So, let's see if we can get this thing to start. I'm probably just gonna give it a shot of starting fluid right away. Just see if that gets her fired over. So luckily, before we put that tractor away a couple weeks ago, we had the mixed fuel in it. So when I talk about mixed fuel or winter fuel, what we do is we mix normal diesel with straight number 1 diesel. So number 1 diesel is just like a lower viscosity diesel and it doesn't gel up in these extreme colds that we get up here. And we usually do about a half and half mixture, so half normal diesel then half number 1 diesel, and that helps the fuel not gel up when we get these extreme temperatures. And on top of that, we usually put some house or power service in the diesel also, just to give it that little extra winter protection. And while it's warming up, I'm gonna walk back over here to the house and grab a shovel, and I'm gonna go out and start moving some snow so we can get them bulls to come into the Quonset area, hopefully. So when we bring the bulls into the Quonset, we're hoping we don't have to push them into the Quonset. I'm hoping that if I get that area plowed out, they'll just come in on their own. And if they do that, if they come in on their own, hopefully they won't start fighting. Because if you guys have watched some of our videos, these bulls like to fight a lot when you move them into different areas. So I'm just hoping that if we let them go in there on their own, they won't want to fight so much. And then once we get them in the Quonset, then we can move them down our lane here and over here into the slough pasture where my cows have been the last couple of years. Then if they want to fight as they walk down here, it's better than having them fight inside that Quonset and bust a bunch of stuff.
So I moved a lot of snow today. We got that bale spin-off attachment pulled out of the snow. We got it set in the machine shed so we can start melting it off. So we gotta head down to Randall's and feed for the night, and we'll see what we can get done tomorrow. Looks like the bulls are making their way in here. Here comes Orson. So that's exactly what we wanted to happen, is just have them come in here on their own. So I'll just leave them be, and hopefully they all come in here and we can trap them here in a day or two and get them moved down to the slough. So there's just a little bit of ice built up around this wood here, and it makes it tight enough going into these holes that it doesn't quite want to go in there. But I got it in there a little bit, good enough that I can run over to the shop and get a bigger hammer and tap it down in there tight. So we actually woke up with it being above 0 this morning, which is nice, and it's probably because there's a storm coming through tonight and tomorrow. But today we're going to try to get these cows moved up from Randall's, and we're trying to get it done before too late in the afternoon, because that's when the storm's supposed to start hitting, and we don't really want to be doing it in the snow when the roads are slick and whatnot, because right now the roads are pretty bare and should be, you know, grippy enough for them cows to make it down here without slipping and falling. It's always kind of hard getting these things planned, because we just usually need a couple extra hands, and then we're working around everybody's work schedules, you know, ours and everybody else that wants to help us, and then the weather usually is a big factor too. But today I think everything came together that we got some help, and hopefully we can get these cows up here before it starts storming. I wanted to put this calf box on the side-by-side because we're still a little over a week away from our first calving date, but cows are just like anything else, they can calve a little bit early, and we didn't have nothing down there last night that we could see. We have quite a few cows that are starting to show, so when we go down there tonight, we just didn't want to go down there empty-handed and all of a sudden there'd be a new calf, and didn't really have a way to get it up here, so that's why I want to put this box on here in case we got to throw a new calf in here. But first things first this morning, we got to get those bulls brought in from that Idaho pasture. We kept everything open to them so they could come in and out of the Quonset and drink and whatnot, but we were never able to catch them all in there at once. So we'll probably have to push them into the Quonset, and hopefully they don't fight too much. And we're hoping, since they've been in and out of there, maybe they won't feel like a new area to them. They won't have to reestablish who's the dominant bull again. But we'll just have to wait and see. Huh, bulls. Whew, man, I was huffing and puffing, trying to get through that knee-deep snow, trying to get around these bulls to bring them in. But luckily, we got all the bulls in. Now we're gonna go get that trailer loaded up with hay and see about getting these cows up here. So you come right down the road. We're actually gonna turn in here, go out here through by the hay shed and out through that elk gate and see if we can't bring them out this way. So my dad just went out here just with the tractor. He's gonna make a few paths going back and forth, just so hopefully we can pull that trailer through there without getting stuck. While he's up here doing that, I'm gonna run down to Randall's
get a few gates shut and get things ready down there, just so we're ready to go here in the next 30 minutes or so. So this storm is starting to hit about two hours before what the weather was saying last night. But luckily it's still pretty cold, so it's a pretty light, fluffy snow. So it's not really slick or nothing. But the hourly shows it maybe letting up here for about an hour or two. That's all we need, just an hour or so to get up the road. And we really don't have to go very far to our place from Randall's. I wouldn't say it's more than, I don't know, a mile. Probably right around a mile from Randall's to our place, so it's not too far that we got to go with them. So we're on our way. So my brother Jesse and stepdad Don are behind us in another side-by-side. I'm in our side-by-side with the calf box. My dad's in the tractor and the trailer there. And Lindsay's going to be in the Subaru in front of my dad, just trying to slow people down. Just because it's not the best visibility right now, and so hopefully we can get them slowed down before they get too close to the herd here. And hopefully we just get them up through here and they'll just mosey on down the road. So wish us luck.
Hey cows! Come on, cows! Hey cows! Hey cows! Hey cows! Come on, cows!
Well, we made it. Wasn't the easiest one, but we got them all down here.
I just gotta make it up here through the herd and hop on the trailer and we'll start feeding them. See all this steam coming off their backs? I'm sweating too. Come on, cows. Hey, cows. Come on, 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 cows.
So we got the cows fed. I didn't really film any of it just because I was trying to focus on where I was pitching the hay, because we were making a new feed ground down there to our place, so we were trying to make a decent trail for the cows to pack down. So I didn't really want to mess with the camera at the moment. But we came back down here to Randall's, and we're going to take probably at least one load of hay back up to our place. And I just came back down here to the pasture to grab these mineral tubs that we have left down here. I think we got this one right here behind me.
We got that blue one over there that has a salt in it. I think there's one more over in that corner I need to grab.
So we timed things pretty well with the hay down here. I don't think it will take more than 2 or 3 trailer loads to get all the hay up to our place from Randall's, and then all the hay will be gone out of here. So that'll be good. We won't have to move too much hay. But I think tonight we'll only get one load of hay out of here just because it's going to be getting dark here before too long, and we don't want to be hauling hay up there in the dark because that trailer of ours doesn't have any lights on it. So the thing I'm gonna miss most about being down here at Randall's
is this spring here. I was telling you guys in some previous videos that even if it's 40 below, the spring doesn't ever freeze up because it comes right out of the ground right here. So it's got some, you know, some kind of temperature to it, and so it stays open all the way through here. So going back up to our place, it's a little bit harder to keep water open. We've got either chip ice in the slough or over in Tin Cup, and we do have a water trough in there by the Quonset and the old milk barn there, and we've got a water heater in that'll keep it open. But it's just nice having this spring down here where you didn't have to worry about the water. It just stayed open on its own, and there's always plenty of it. So just with this one trailer load right here, we were able to empty out this hay shed right here. So there's one more hay shed on the south side that's got a little bit of hay in it, but I don't think it's got more than 2 loads, maybe 1 big load out there. And then we'll have all the hay out of Randall's here. So I think that was a pretty good move, just bringing the cows down here and feeding them for, I guess, a little over a month that we fed them down here, instead of hauling all that hay up to our place and feeding it up there. That would have been a lot of trips back and forth, hauling all that hay up there. So in this hay shed, it looks like we've got 2 more of these 3x4s here. And let's see, we've got 5, 10, 11, 12, 14, 16, 18. More 3x3s, then that'll be it. We'll have all the hay moved out of Randall's up to our place. So we got dark quicker on us than I was hoping. So I'm just gonna follow behind my dad with that tractor and trailer, and just so we got some kind of lights on the back here so people can see us. So we grabbed a couple more bales out of this south hay shed, so we should be able to get everything up to our place with 1 more load, and we'll be done. So that's not too bad, just having to haul 2 loads of hay up to our place. So I just came out here to check on this water trough real quick and make sure everything's still flowing. And we're gonna load most of that load of hay and just keep enough on there to feed tomorrow. I'll probably call it a night, and we'll see what tomorrow brings for us. So I think I'm gonna have to make this a 2-part video. So hope you guys enjoyed this one, and thanks for watching. Have a good day.